It's the first rule. Win Iowa, because 9 out of 11 Democratic presidential candidates who won Iowa won the nomination.
So there you have Chris Matthews sort of laying out one of his rules in Iowa. I would add a follow-up rule: have apps that work. That would be nice. It was obviously a mess, and we're going to talk about multiple aspects of this. I do want to start off though with what we believe we know about the rankings, and joining us now to discuss that and more, progressive activist Jordan Uhl. Welcome back to the show.
John, thank you for having me.
Great to have you here. So you saw there in that little introductory video, first rule: win Iowa. We don't know for sure. We've only seen some early numbers put out by the Bernie campaign, by the Buttigieg campaign, but it looks so far like Bernie might have won. What's your reaction to that, but in general, the experience we had last night?
Yeah, early reports, are uncertain. They were at this point, which is it's like 1:30 on the East Coast on Tuesday. We're expecting results maybe by 5 o'clock. It really just shows kind of what a mess this whole thing is. But because the caucus process is so just convoluted, it looks like the Bernie campaign smartly had its precinct goers and precinct captains report data to them so they could also kind of do their own level of validation. And last night they reported data about 40% of precincts showing that they were in the lead. Kind of it matches what we had kind of expected with polling going into this. But really, this just shows that the Iowa caucus process is such a mess and has outsized influence over presidential politics and national politics. And this is what do we have to ask ourselves: is this really what we want? Being the starting point for one of the most important national decisions we collectively make? Yeah. I would argue maybe we reconsider.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the system should be. I can only hope that it features as many coin flips as the current system. But anyway, so look, it was a disaster. I think we agree there. We don't know for sure, but it looks like one person that it was a particular disaster for might have been Joe Biden. Here's a little bit more of Chris Matthews talking about that.
I think we got a lot more game ahead of us, with Bernie coming out really strong. I believe the first couple contests staying strong for a while. Biden, I don't know if he's going to make it. We'll see tonight if he makes it on. They used to say 3 tickets out of Iowa. We'll see. I think there'll be 3 or 4, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe one extra ticket for Biden, but I did want to give you a little bit of breaking news. CNN's John King is apparently reporting that the Biden campaign is looking into seeking a court injunction to halt this afternoon's release of the Iowa caucus results. And it is believed that in the preliminary numbers we've seen that Biden did not do particularly well. If he does this, if he tries to legally block the public reporting of the caucus results, what do you think that means? What effect will that have?
Well, John, if I was coming out of Iowa in first place, the last thing I would want would be to shut down the public release of the results in court. So I mean, that decision just has to show they're expecting something really bad. They want to delay this as long as possible because then that blunts the momentum for whoever the winner is. A lot of people are kind of reading into this, whether this means it's just overall doom and despair for the Biden campaign. I don't necessarily think so. There's a ton of southern states that Biden is poised to do really well in. He's running on name recognition. He's running on the Obama tenure. He's just running an old Democratic establishment campaign. But because of that, that really speaks to why they didn't do well in Iowa. It's just the old guard just kind of doing the same old stuff, running on name recognition, not really tapping into the grassroots progressive activist culture and spirit that we saw the Sanders campaign tap into, which likely led to a really good result for them.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.